homework correction, part A of the homework. So you were told to find the square root of 48 minus 14i. So like we discussed yesterday, how do you start this? You say that the square root of the complex number 48 minus 14i is going to be another complex number a plus iota b, where a and b are integers, are real values, sorry, not integers, real values. So a and b are not complex, like a can be 3, but a can't be 3 iota. All right, so we will start with squaring both the sides. So we have 48 minus 14i equals a plus iota b whole square. A question, 48 minus 14i, yes. Okay. So square the right hand side, we get a square plus 2ab iota plus b squares. We have to square iota b whole square. So b square is b square and iota square is minus 1. So it's going to be negative b square. Negative b square equals 48 minus 14 iota. 48 is the real part, 14 is the imaginary part. At the right hand side, the real part is a square minus b square, and the imaginary part is 2ab. So we're going to equate that. 48 gets equated to the real value here, a square minus b square. 48 is equals to a square minus b square, and the imaginary part, which is minus 14, is equals to 2ab. So minus 14 is equals to 2ab. So we have a equals to minus 7 by b. Is that the substitution you took at the b को subject बनाया था a को?
A को.
A goes, so you got this as well, minus 7 upon b. Substituted in the first equation, 48 equals minus 7 upon b whole square minus b square. That is 48 is equals to 49 over b square minus b square. Take LCM and rearrange, we get 48b square is equals to 49 minus b. Sorry?
अब मुझे मिल गया मिस्टेक, कैलकुलेशन मिस्टेक थी, समझ आ गई.
Okay, ठीक है. I'm still going to do it for Mary. B power 4 plus 48b square minus 49 is equals to 0. Any questions so far, Mary?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So this is a hidden quadratic equation. Let b square equals x. So we have x square plus 48x minus 49 is equals to 0. So we could factorize this. X square minus 48x minus x minus 49 is equals to 0. Minus plus 49 minus x plus 49x minus x minus 49 is equals to 0. X is common, x plus 49 minus 1 is common, x plus 49 equals 0. So x minus 1, x plus 49 equals 0, x equals 1, x equals minus 49. All right. So x will be replaced with b square equals 1, or b square equals minus 49. This has no further solution, because if you take square root of minus 49, you don't get a real answer. You get an imaginary answer, a complex answer. But we've initially discussed that a and b are actually real values. So no solution here. And for b, we're getting plus minus 1 after taking under. Okay. Now when b is 1 or minus 1, what would a be? So B is 1 or B is minus 1. Okay, so A is equals to minus 7 upon B. So for the first case, A is equals to minus 7 and here A is equals to 7. So the complex numbers A plus iota B is minus 7 plus 1 iota, which is minus 7 plus iota, and 7 minus iota. And our answers are probably correct because when you take square root of a complex number, you get a positive answer and a negative answer. So if you multiply this with negative 1, you get that answer. All right, Marine, you must try the other two today and let me know if you face any problem. Okay, moving on. Solve the following quadratic equation. Now, the ABC in the quadratic equation would be complex, and we will get complex expressions inside the square root. So, solve the following quadratic equation. Part A is b square plus 4c plus 4 plus 2 iota equals to 0. So now this is the c is a complex value. So remember, when you now get the two solutions of the quadratic equation, they will not be conjugate pairs. Unlike the case where A, B, C are real, and if you're getting a complex root 2 plus 3 iota, then the other one would be the conjugate pair, which would be 2 minus 3 iota. But not when A or B or C are complex. Just give me a second. So let's solve the quadratic equation. It's going to be z equals minus b plus minus b square minus 4ac divided by 2a. So what do we get inside the square root? B square minus 4ac. So that's minus 4 plus minus 16 minus 16 minus 8 iota divided by 2. So that is minus 4 plus minus 8 iota divided by 2. Okay. So now we can't move forward unless we find this first. And we've already found this yesterday. Homework का ये question है. We're not doing that again, but we know the answer of square root of minus 8. That is minus 2 plus 2 iota and 2 minus 2 iota. So we've done this already yesterday. It was yesterday's homework that finds square root of minus 8 iota. So that is coming out to be 2 minus 2 iota or minus 2 plus 2 iota. Minus 2 plus 2 iota or 2 minus 2 iota. Okay. Now you got two roots of the, nahin, ye roots nahi hai, sorry, ye to square root ke answers hai. So you're getting one value is positive, the other value is negative, as discussed yesterday, that if you multiply one of these with negative 1, you get the other solution. You get the other square. So
मैम इससे तो 4 आंसर्स आ जाएंगे।
नहीं आएंगे, वही मैं बता रही हूँ। अब क्या करना है, मूविंग फॉरवर्ड यू यूज वन ऑफ दीज, आइदर यू यूज 2 माइनस 2 आयोटा और यू यूज माइनस 2 प्लस 2 आयोटा। उसकी वजह ये है कि यहाँ प्लस माइनस ऑलरेडी है, देयर इज ऑलरेडी a प्लस माइनस देयर, सो यू टेक वन ऑफ दीज, और जब उसका माइनस करेंगे तो वो दूसरा वाला हम ऑटोमेटिकली यूज कर लेंगे। ठीक है, सो मूविंग फॉरवर्ड यूज ओनली वन ऑफ द आंसर्स, use one of the square root moving forward। इसकी वजह ये है because there is already plus minus in the formula, in quadratic formula, so definitely you will be using both of them, but here you show one of them in the working. So we have z equals minus 4 plus minus, I'm using the first one that I've written 2 minus 2 iota upon 2. So we have z equals minus 4 plus 2, which is minus 2 iota divided by 2. So one of the answers is z equals minus 1 minus iota. And for the other one, it's z equals minus 4 minus 2 is minus 6, and then plus 2 iota divided by 2. So that is z equals minus 3 plus iota. Okay, the answer. Minus 1 minus iota minus 3 plus iota, yes. So now see, although we solved the quadratic equation, but unlike yesterday's quadratic equation, today's roots are not complex conjugate pairs. क्यों नहीं है? क्योंकि there's the C is a complex numbers. That's why you do not get answers in conjugate pairs. Okay, next question. अभी तक कोई question है तो पूछो. Okay, then we move on. Part B, which is 2 minus iota z square plus 3 plus iota z minus 5 is equals to 0. We have a quadratic equation, yes. Are A, B, and C real? No, they're not real. So that means that the answer would not be conjugate pairs. Okay, so minus B equals, minus B plus minus B square minus 4AC upon 2A. So we have minus 3 minus iota plus minus square root. Inside the square root, let's solve it here. We have 3 plus iota whole square, that's going to be A square, plus 2AB, that's going to be 6 iota, plus B square. And we already know that iota square is negative 1. So it's going to be 9 plus 6 iota minus B square, A square plus 2AB plus B square. Yes, it's going to be 8 plus 6 iota. गलत हुआ है, अच्छा नहीं, ठीक है, सही है. 8 plus 6 iota is just 3 plus iota whole square, and along with that we have 8 plus 6 iota minus 4 times 2 minus iota minus 5. So I'm writing this as 8 plus 6 iota plus 22 minus iota, and then 8 plus 6 iota plus 40 minus 20 iota. So I'm getting 48 minus 14 iota. And you got this as homework yesterday as well, which we also discussed a while back. What is the answer of 48 minus 14 iota? It's minus 7 plus iota, and it's times minus 1, 7 minus iota. So the square roots are 7 minus iota or minus iota, and not or, minus 7 plus iota. So like we discussed before, there is already a plus minus in the quadratic formula, so we will be using one of the answers moving forward, and the denominator is 2ab. Minus b plus minus b square minus 4ac over 2ac, sorry. So c is minus 5. Sorry, 2a hota hai. 2a hota. Minus b plus minus b square minus 4ac over 2a. Okay, so it's 4 minus 2 iota here. So minus 3 minus iota plus minus one of the answers, let's use 7 minus iota divided by 4 minus 2 iota. So we have minus 3 plus 7, which is 4, and then minus iota is minus 2 iota. And the denominator is 4 minus 2 iota, so this is just 1. So one of the solution is 1. Yes. And for the other one, it's going to be minus 3 minus iota minus 7 plus iota. So that's going to be 7, 8, 9, 10 minus 10 divided by 4 minus 2 iota. The imaginary part in the numerator gets cancelled. One is minus iota, the other one is plus iota. Okay. So now this is not an acceptable answer because it has an imaginary value in the denominator that has to be fixed, multiply and divide with the conjugate of 4 minus 2 iota. In fact, it's better to simplify this. Numerator is being divided by 10, denominator is being divided by 10. So I'm going to change this into minus 5 over 2 minus iota. Now it becomes simpler. I'm going to multiply it with 2 plus iota, divide it with 2 plus iota. So the numerator becomes minus 10 minus 5 iota divided by the denominator is a plus b, a minus b, which is a squared minus b squared. So that's going to be minus 10 minus 5 iota divided by 4 minus 1, so that's 5 in the denominator, minus 10 minus 5 iota divided by 5. So we're getting minus 2 minus iota. That's one of the solution, and the other solution was 1. Yes. The question like this. Part C. Solve the quadratic equation z square plus 1 minus iota z plus minus 6 plus 2 iota equals here. So b square बल्कि minus b plus minus b square minus 4ac upon 2a. So we have minus 1 plus iota plus minus square root whole divided by 2. Let's simplify the expression inside the square root. It's 1 minus iota square first, which is a square minus 2ab plus b square, which is minus 1. So we just get minus 2 iota because 1 minus 1 is 0. So that's minus 2 iota. Now we have minus 2 iota minus 4 times 1 minus 6 plus 2 iota. So that is minus 2 iota minus times minus is plus 4 times 6 is 24 and minus 8 iota. Okay, and then when we simplify this, we're getting minus 10 iota plus 24. Okay, so this is 24 minus 10 iota, and I believe you got this as homework as well yesterday. 24 minus 10 iota. This had two answers. I think 5 minus iota and minus 5 plus iota. 5 minus iota, or multiply it with negative 1 minus 5 plus iota. Moving forward, you have to use one of these answers. So minus 1 plus iota plus minus square 5 minus iota brackets divided by 2. So we're getting minus 1 plus 5 is 4, and plus iota minus iota is actually 0. 4 divided by 2. So one of the solutions is 2. I'm turning off the video. My internet connection is unstable. So 4 divided by 2 is 2. And for the other one, it's for the negative one, it's going to be negative 1, negative 5, which is negative 6, and then plus iota plus iota. So that's plus 2 iota divided by 2. So that is minus 3 plus iota. So these are the two solutions of the quadratic equation. One is real and one is complex. Okay. Moving on to the next topic, which is polar form. जी हैदर.
मैम ये एक क्वेश्चन है,
पूछो.
ये क्वेश्चन मैम भी इतने लंबे मतलब कि क्वेश्चन आते हैं पेपर में असल में?
हाँ बिल्कुल
क्योंकि ये
आता
तो
है.
बहुत लंबे हैं.
हाँ आता है, क्यों नहीं आता. आपने कॉम्प्लेक्स नंबर स्क्वायर रूट का भी आ सकता है, खाली स्क्वायर रूट का कम ही आता है ऑनेस्टली, लेकिन क्वाड्रेटिक इक्वेशन बिल्कुल सॉल्व करनी आता है. हर साल नहीं आती, लेकिन कुछ कुछ सालों बाद आ जाती है. अब कॉम्प्लेक्स नंबर एक बहुत बड़ा टॉपिक है, इससे पार्ट्स में आता है यूजुअली, बट वो तकरीबन हर चीज ही टेस्ट कर लेते हैं आपकी, लेकिन जरूरी नहीं है दैट यू गेट अ सिमिलर क्वेश्चन एवरी ईयर. But every now and then you will see such questions in the topical basket.
ठीक है
So
मैम.
definitely ये syllabus का part है. Okay. All right. Moving on to the next subtopic, which is complex number in polar form. Complex number in polar form. All right. Let's write a complex number, which is, let's say it's u. U is 3 plus 2 iota. This is called rectangular form. This is called rectangular form of complex number, और कहीं regular form भी लिखा होता है. So this is a regular form or a rectangular form of a complex number. If I plot it on the Cartesian coordinates or complex coordinates, this is x and this is imaginary axis iota y. So 3 will be here on the real axis and 2 will be here on the imaginary axis. Okay. Now, what is polar form? Polar form is, you have to change this into this form. Polar form R cos theta plus iota sine theta. This is called polar form. While we're discussing polar form, let's also discuss exponential form. Exponential form is this. R e power iota theta or theta iota. Theta iota. अच्छा, now what is this R? What is this theta? बाकी तो हमें पता है, हमें iota पता है क्या होता है, हमें cos sin पता है क्या होता है, हमें e पता है क्या होता है, constant होता है 2 point something. Okay, but we don't know what is R here, we don't know what is theta here. Now R is this magnitude here, this length. What is going to be this length? This red length from origin to the point. You can apply Pythagoras theorem here.
Magnitude length.
This is going to be 2 and this is going to be 3, exactly the magnitude. So R would be square root of 2 square plus 3 square. So what is that? Square root of 13? Okay, so R is the magnitude, this length between the origin and the point. So that's square root of 13. And what is theta? Theta is simply this angle. So theta is tan inverse 2 upon 3. Tan inverse y over x. So that is going to be, and remember this theta is in radians. This theta, this theta, this theta, these have to be in radians. Theta is in radians. ये मैंने radians लिखने की कोशिश की है. Okay, so what is tan inverse 2 over 3? That is, oh, I'm in degrees, radians. Tan inverse 2 over 3. So that is 0.588. 0.588 in 3 significant figure. So the polar form would be under root 13 bracket cos 0.588 plus iota sine 0.588. Okay. And exponential form is going to be R, which is under root 13, E, which is a constant, just like pi, theta, which is 0.588 iota. This is going to be exponential form. So you might be asked to change it into polar form, you might be asked to change it into exponential form. So all you need to do is find R and theta. अच्छा, अब theta की थोड़ी properties होती हैं. Theta is in radians. And theta has to be a value between pi and minus pi. Theta is always between pi and minus. That means, okay, it's either from here to here or from here to here. What we mean by this is कि in case आपका point let's say इधर आ रहा हो, so अब you're not going to find this angle. This won't be your theta because that's bigger than pi. Pi होता है 180. So instead you'll use this negative angle from here to here. ठीक है, अभी इसकी example करके देखते हैं. Let's find polar form of a complex number in the second quadrant. So what if the complex number is -3 -4 iota? So sorry, +4 iota. It's going to be here. The real part is -3. The complex part is 4. So it's in the second quadrant. Again, this is the real axis x, and that's the imaginary axis iota y. So you have to change this into polar form. Again, you need this angle, this length, and now you need this angle because it is between 0 to pi. So it will work. We're finding this angle. Okay, let's see. So let's find the r first. R is just square root of a square plus b square. Let me just give you the general formula here as well. If u is a plus x plus I y, then r is Pythagoras on this x square plus y square square root, and theta is tan inverse y upon x. That's the general formula. Okay. So r is going to be square root of 3 square plus 4 square, because this is r again. And if you change this into a triangle, then this is 4 units, and this is 3 units. So r is going to be Pythagoras, apply Pythagoras on 3 and 4. So that's going to be square root of 25, which is going to be 5. So that length of the red line is 5 units. Now we have to find this outer angle theta. For that, what you'll do, you'll find this inner angle theta and subtract it from 180. But since we're in radians, you're going to subtract it from pi. So that tan theta is through proper brushing. So what is this tan inverse 4/3? It's 0.9272. So subtract that from pi. Pi minus answer, 0.927295. Pi minus answer, that is 2.21429. So that's going, theta is this 2.21 after rounding. So the polar form is going to be 5 bracket cos theta, which is 2.21, plus iota sine 2.21. By the way, if you expand this in your calculator, if you do 5 times cos 2 plus 2 iota, you will get -3. You will probably get when you round it off, you get -3 because we've rounded 2.21. इस वजह से exact वो तो नहीं आएगा, लेकिन it will still be very close to -3. And similarly, if you multiply 5 with sine 2.21, you will get a value very close to 4 iota, which when you round it off would be 4. Okay, so now let's discuss a case where the complex number is in the third quadrant. So let's say u is 2 here, sorry, -2, and let's say -3 here, -3 iota. Okay, changing it into polar form, I'm going to do it quickly because we're running out of time. Square root 2 square plus 3 square, which was what, square root of 13. So the length, this length from the origin to the point is square root of 13. Now I need the angle. I will not be finding this angle because remember theta has the condition on it that it is between pi and -pi. So this angle is clearly bigger than pi. So what we'll do instead is find this angle. And since it's clockwise, it's going to be a negative angle. So we will find this angle and then subtract it from pi and then place a negative sign with the answer. So here I'm going to use the right angle. This is 3 units and that's 2 units. So through proper brushing, tan theta is equals to 3 upon 2. So theta is equals to tan inverse 3 upon 2 is 0.982797. I'm going to subtract it from pi. Pi minus answer. That gives me pi. Pi minus answer is 2.15879. Okay. Place a negative sign with it. So theta is negative 2.15879. So the final answer would be under root 13 bracket cos negative 2.15816 कर लेते हैं plus iota sine minus 2.16. We're going to continue from here tomorrow और इससे related मैं homework के question भेजूंगी after 40ish minutes. Right, take care. Allah Hafiz.